You will? I don't know. The game? Yeah.
Hello everyone and welcome
pack.
to another day in Vera. We have a very exciting stream for you today. It has been some time since we have showed off a bit of the ranged combat.
2027, yes.
We are going to be
250, yes. I mean, you get other stuff, you get in-game currency, all of the other shit that you get in other pre-order things too. But you need to pay $250 to get the pre-order package. Here, for example. This is the one that you need to buy. As you can see, more info. Access to future beta 1 test and whatever, right? But this is for alpha 2. You need to pay $250. Yep. And obviously you get everything else too. You get $100 in in-game currency. You get 6 months of game time. You get cosmetics. So for me, buying this wouldn't be as bad. Simply because I could deduct it from my taxes, right? But even then, that would require me to earn enough money to even have to pay taxes, which I probably not even get. So, yeah. In real art and do that for 250 in a PC game? Yeah, I don't know. You never ask for a dime again ever, not even cosmetics. I mean, you have $100 for cosmetics afterwards. So, you know. Sponsor cons, which is kind of pay to win. I don't know what that is. React video for later. How Riot Games MMO was set to change gaming. Dude, fuck that. There's no way that's a good video. There's no way that's not just full on fucking copium. There's no way they're actually even making this game. I'm not gonna lie. Game sadly, Riot MMO was a joke. I don't know, but I'm not really hopeful for it.
Archetype with some 17, 18, 19 skills. I can't remember what we're going to be showcasing today in the base archetype, but it is a whole lot of Ranger. And I have joining us today 3 of our glorious developers, 2 of our senior
I don't even know if I like this. Why does this... something with this character looks off.
Trad and Brian. Brian, how you guys doing?
Doing good. Glad to be here. I think it's been a couple since we did our last combat showcase.
I know.
Yeah, I'm doing great. Happy to show off the Ranger.
Yeah, you've been putting in a lot of work on this, Brian.
Not just me, the whole team.
Absolutely, the whole team. But Rangers are near and dear to your heart, right? Aren't you a Ranger player? Don't you play some Rangers?
Yes. Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorite classes. They're often not done justice in games, so getting the opportunity to do right by Ranger mains makes me happy.
Yes, and then of course, the man behind the magic, the senior engineer. And the owner for the PC core team, Keenan. How you doing, Keenan?
I'm alive. Happy to be here, though.
Yeah, this is, by the way, this is a really cool environment. I see Carvin in the background. We're here in winter. It is, it's definitely giving me the Christmas vibes, and it is beautiful. I mean, the environment team, holy smokes, what an amazing job.
I hate that he always is pretending that he's never seen any of this. Even if he... I mean, maybe it's even worse if he actually has never seen any of this. Because he should be seeing everything, right? Like, why does he always say, oh my god, this looks so sick. This is Christmas and what... You have seen this probably like 1,000,000 times already. What are you talking about?
I love the snow. Everything. It feels so cozy.
It's hosted in China? What the fuck?
Now,
why?
We have, let's see, I'm in your party. We have established from
So first things first, these keybinds are absolutely horrendous. No one will put a fucking keybind above 5, okay? And especially not shift 6. Why?
The community on the showcasing that little 1 by 1 of each ability before we get into any combat situations with some mobs or NPCs is desired. It's a nice clean way for us to kind of showcase obviously all the hard work that's gone into the creation of this.
Tiny hand. I actually do have
Excuse me.
tiny hands.
Into the creation of this archetype. I apologize for coughing, guys. I've recently got sick, and I'm still recovering a little bit. But I am doing much better now. So I think this is a great place. What is this? Like some dried up riverbed or something? It looks pretty cool. Get some nice colors in here. Now, obviously, as a disclaimer, before we begin, I do want to say that UI, VFX, 100% a work in progress. Oh my God, there's a bird up there. And
I got him.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank
no,
you.
Zaki.
Good. It's a scary little bird. The UI is a work in progress. The VFX are a work in progress. Everything here is subject to change through testing. Obviously, Alpha 2 coming up is going to be a big opportunity for us to test a lot of this stuff. So please keep that in mind, especially you content creators out there who are going to do some review videos. Make sure you mention that at the start of your videos. Keenan, how
Don't
do you
worry,
feel about
it's
being
already.
a
I'm watching
targeting
this, so
dummy
you
for
already said
the
it.
showcase of these abilities?
I'll tank it.
All right, let's do that. And do you have a healer? Tread? Very
Trad's got me.
All right, Trad's got you.
It's all on me here.
All right, there we go. All right, so I am now no longer in your party so that I can murder you. But I have set my cooldowns to 0.1, I believe, so that I can show.
Already tell you this, chat. This is gonna be terrible because Steven is piloting the fucking character. That man hasn't used a keyboard since 1933. Okay, he has no idea what the fuck anything is.
Each of these
I am
abilities off
worried.
multiple times as we're talking about it. So please keep in mind, guys, as you're out there watching this display, the cooldowns here are set to practically nothing. Now we're gonna do some combat afterwards. I'll set cooldowns back, but during this display,
Always look as bad.
let us
piloting it, I have
showcase
no idea.
our first ability. I see we have Snipe, and we showed Snipe off last year when we did our last ranged basic weapon combo update.
As
people
in
got
playing
to see
video,
a
that was pretty
little preview
painful.
of it last month as well during our artisanship review. But talk to me about some of the changes that Snipe has gone through and what this ability serves as a purpose. Brian.
Yeah, so with Snipe, we've been leaning into it being an alpha strike ability. So it's what you want to open with to deal massive damage. And since it's got that charge up time, it's not as good to do when you're needing to kite something, but whenever you're just opening on something that's an unsuspecting target, it's the perfect ability for it. And if you have spec choices, there's other things that lean into it.
No,
For
the game
instance,
is not
you've
going
got
to
that-
release in 2025. This game's going to release in 2027, I would say the earliest.
proc on you right now that's giving you 20% bonus attack speed on a successful
Oh,
snipe.
Yeah, probably,
Oh,
boss.
very cool.
wait.
Okay, let me take a look at that.
Fired again. You'll see it.
Okay, let me see.
Yeah, Trad helped with this. He added this into the skill tree. Yeah, just procced on you there. So
Oh, there it is.
yeah, so your follow-up shots will come out even quicker.
Cool. So that proc is happening because I have spec'd into a passive. And let's take a look.
Yes.
This is the first time that people have actually seen the progression tree for a particular archetype in quite a while, actually, probably since our Alpha 1. But there has been a lot of work that's gone into this from you guys, of course. Talk to me a little bit about the different types of abilities we're seeing here.
Trad, do you want to take this one? Because you put a lot of work into this.
Sure. I mean, we're going to go through all these as we go through and show them off one by one. But what you're seeing at a high level here is just what you'd pretty much expect of a traditional skill tree. We're doing something a little more advanced than just like a bottom-up structure because we're being a little bit more freeform in this iteration. This will obviously see more UI iterations in the future, but you'll see like a mix of active and passive abilities here. Actives are indicated by their square shape, while the circular ones are representing passives. And one thing to note as well is that these passives are aiming to be a little more interesting than just like, this ability does more damage now, or this, it has a lower cooldown. Like we do have some of those too, but the goal with a lot of these passives, in addition to that, is to allow people to lean into unique playstyles. So you'll notice that some of them are changing your gameplay in meaningful ways, and that's the direction we want to take.
The first thing I notice here is that it doesn't seem like there's choices. You can get everything in the skill tree. That's a little weird.
Player and character customization as a whole.
Very cool. Yeah, I love it. Obviously, you know, this is all subject to intense feedback from the testers who will be participating as
It's
part of
cheating
Alpha
with
2.
GM powers, maybe.
All of this stuff is subject to change, as I said, but it gives you guys a very good idea direction-wise, and your feedback is, of course, why we do these development updates, so please make sure that you give us your thoughts.
Have a good one, Ali.
Progression tree. In addition to the archetype progression tree, we also have something that interacts with each of the archetypes, and that is a weapon progression tree as well. Now, obviously, the format of this particular weapon skill tree that you're seeing here is a relatively simplistic one, but talk to me a little bit about the intent and purpose, but it gives you guys...
That's also really odd already, no? I'm blind. How the fuck does this work? Where does this skill tree start? Bottom? There's an arrow that goes down though. At the bottom. Everywhere. So technically it started here to get to here. But there's no arrows here. So what the fuck is this? And then you have the other one, which starts at the bottom and just goes up. Try the game in next year, $250.
The format of this particular weapon skill tree that you're seeing here is a relatively simplistic one, but talk to me a little bit about the intent and purpose behind the weapon.
What does that even mean, Weeb?
Yeah, so the intent here is to give you choices. Either I want to extend and improve my combo, or I want just passive benefits that increase my attack speed or crit chance in this case.
Try out, yeah. It's very good.
And yeah, as you can see, the tree's a lot more simple. Kind of like a stage 1 tree, work in progress, but it'll get fancier over time.
And I see on the far right-hand side, Brian, that there are additional combo steps. So let me actually unspec these additional combo steps so that we can talk first about the basic weapon combo. And I'm just going to demonstrate that here. I'm going to use the short bow. Now this is a short bow we are using. You guys remember from last year when we showcased ranged weapons that we had obviously a number of them, some of them arcane, some of them physical, but the two bow types that we have are longbow and short bow. I'm using the short bow, as you can see. It is a copper short bow. And let's see what this looks like.
Why would a short bow be out of copper?
That's 4 hits there.
Very cool. So it's relatively rapid pace, especially compared to that of the longbow that you guys got to see a little while ago. Let us talk about speccing now.
That was just auto attack.
Combo steps, and what does that do? Oh, you know what?
Yes. So we've done a lot of experimentation over the past couple months to find out what's the shortest and what's the longest combo that's acceptable. Because we had this goal where we wanted to have combo length progression available to players, so that certain builds could have longer weapon combos and other builds can have shorter weapon combos with more passive effects. And this has been the result of our exploration. So when you start out, you've got a pretty quick 4-hit combo, but whenever you unlock the additional hits, you get the 5th and 6th hits, which add approximately 50% to the overall combo length, but we found that gave a pretty satisfying floor and ceiling to how long the combo can be.
It definitely, I can feel absolutely the change, obviously, in the pace between not having spec'd into the combo.
I mean, the auto attack doesn't look particularly bad. It almost sounds a little annoying.
So in addition to the later hits in the combo doing additional damage, you also unlock proc effects. So on your 5th hit, you unlock the special 5th hit, which gives you 10% bonus critical strike chance, which you just proc there. And then the 6th hit, you unlock the special 6-hit, which gives you Arrow Storm, which causes your next, I believe, 10 attacks to fire an additional arrow at the target.
Very cool.
So that combos really well with rapid fire abilities, such as the next ability we're going to be looking at.
All right, let's take a look at Barrage. So Barrage, it says, fires a continual barrage of arrows at your target for 1.5 seconds, dealing 12% physical damage per arrow. Okay, let's take a look at this.
It might not seem like a lot per arrow, but it fires a lot of arrows.
Now that's a charge. Is this a charged ability? Do I have multiple charges of this?
No. Right now you only have one charge.
Okay.
And we did some iterations with this, and a lot of play testing. And yeah, we changed this back to only having one charge, and you can reduce the cooldown of this by completing a weapon combo.
Okay, all right. Let me see this.
Want to return an investment?
A weapon combo, it would reduce the cooldown. Now, right
yeah,
now
I mean,
so we'll show that off a little bit later.
I don't know.
Talk to me a little bit about Headshot.
Yeah, Headshot, it starts off, so there's ways that you can specialize this that turn it into the execute that it was born as originally. It does pretty high damage, but if you spec it appropriately, it does bonus damage when the target's below 50% health, and if the target is marked, it has 50% reduced cooldown, I believe, with the spec that you have.
Yeah, it's kind of cool that it wraps around terrain.
So if I have a mark on the target, then I get a 50% cooldown.
Yeah, you get 50% reduced cooldown on Headshot.
Nice. Now, we haven't talked about marks before. You want to talk to me a little bit about the intent behind marks?
Yep. The intent behind marks is to provide a burst window on the target. Often in other games, it's just bonus damage. This is much more significant on the impact that this will have on the target. It's basically marking the target for death. It has a pretty huge effect. For instance, Mark of the Tiger, it grants 50% bonus critical chance to all attacks striking the target. Mark of the Bear is minus 25% armor, and Mark of the Raven is a bonus hit that occurs every time the target is struck, and it scales up in damage based on how low on health the target is.
Okay, so let me try Mark of the Bear. So this reduces their mitigation by 25%. So when I use an ability first, like Headshot, I just did 76 damage. If I were to start Headshot and then I can use the Mark of the Bear while I'm channeling or casting the Headshot.
Okay, so it's not a part of the global cooldown. That's good.
Apply to the target while I'm essentially using Headshot. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct. Keenan and the engineers made us some awesome what you might know it in other games as off global cooldown tech. We call it simultaneous casting, and yeah, that allows you to cast your marks at the same time as other abilities, allowing for very efficient use of time.
Awesome. Okay, so now
that's
it's
good.
gone from him.
That's what I've been saying that they need.
Wow, that's a significant bump.
Yeah, Mark of the Bear is really good against tanky targets.
Yeah, that's awesome. Mark of the Raven, let's take a look at this. I love the effect. Scott has done such a great job with these.
Yeah, I love that he decided to join the VFX team and come over and help us with combat. He's doing a great job so far.
Absolutely. Let's see. Oh, they look great. Very cool. That's awesome. Now, in addition to marks, talk to me, Trad, a little bit about hunts. What are the hunts?
Reply every 10 seconds. Yeah, it's a little bit overwhelming for just the mark, I guess.
Unlike marks, which are debuffs on the target, hunts are different buffs you can put on yourself. They're both themed pretty similarly. At first, we had started with linking these two concepts directly, like you would put the hunt on yourself and then shoot that hunt out as a mark, and infuse the target with that. But we ended up kind of separating them just to make them a little bit more independently and freely usable.
10% increase
but the theme
damage.
you can see is the same. We've chosen the tiger, bear, and raven animals, but they're stay tuned for more. And yeah, like you guys are talking about, the visuals for these are really cool. But yeah, these are basically like different buffs that you will put on yourself.
This is a step forward,
tend
though.
to have some synergy with their respective.
That means they do have tech, so you can circumvent global cooldown. That's really fucking important for these kind of games to feel good. So That's a good step, I think.
Thematic creatures.
So I used Mark of the Raven this time. I was doing 96 damage, but that's because I had Hunt of the Raven.
That's true
Just
too, I
giving me
guess. They
additional
didn't.
physical
How
penetration.
much classes did they show so far? Ranger, like some warrior, fighter, or whatever the fuck with a great sword. And then we saw a little bit of like the thief or the rogue or whatever.
But let me use Mark of the Bear on the target.
I think this
while
is.
having that hunt
This
action.
looks
So
so
now instead of doing
far
117, I'm
to
doing
be quite
179.
close to
Wow.
Guild Wars 2.
That's
Which
a good-
I don't know if that's a
117,
good thing or a bad thing, because Guild Wars 2 combat is really good. But Guild Wars 2 is also like 10 years old. So do you want a game that has 10-year-old combat? I don't know. But this looks somewhat close to Guild Wars 2 combat.
Let me see. Let me try this. Hold on. Mark of the Tiger.
The next class arc is
No, that's a
Mage.
critical chance. Mark of the Bear is meant
For $250? Yeah. True.
Okay.
Maybe Keenan doesn't have enough armor for the extra to help.
Oh, poor Keenan. Not enough armor.
Gray armor.
I mean,
Isn't-
again, I think these showcases are very misleading. First of all, because Steven has no fucking clue what he's doing, and also that applies to the build, right? Like this is not a build that you wouldn't have all three of these hunts on your toolbar, right? Ain't no way you have all three of those buffs. You're probably just gonna have one. Like this is obviously just a showcase build, and that's probably all the abilities they can show so far. There's probably should be much more.
Kind of some newbie gear down there.
Oh no. Okay. All right.
But that is the thing about the armor pen, is that will scale more and more effectively the more armored your target is. So you can think of it as like a counter stat
Very
for people who build that up.
That looks awesome. All right. So now we also have Scattershot.
You know what's
This is
also
one of our-
interesting though? They said this is a mixture between action and tap targeting. How many action abilities have you seen so far? Well, this might be the first one.
First AoE abilities. Talk to me a little bit about Scattershot.
Looks like it feels weak.
Yes, like you said, it's a
Kind
AoE
of.
ability. It fires out in a cone in front of you, about 20 meters ahead. And we've got some pretty cool tech with this. The first is we're drawing a targeting decal that only the caster can see, to help like align the cast as you're firing it. The second cool thing that we're doing here is
What
you
is
can
Steven
actually
doing?
charge the ability into a beam, which is better for lower amount of targets. So if you just want to hit a wide field of targets, you would just quick cast it.
shotgun.
But if you were interested in AoEing a specific smaller pack, it'd be more efficient for you to do the charge cast.
It doesn't seem like a very good shotgun though. It does double damage if you hit with all shots instead of like 5 times the amount or something.
Very cool. So if I have to hold the charge to completion to get the additional damage value, essentially.
I mean, I do find it very depressing to exploit the MMORPG community like this, because there's literally no MMOs releasing. So there will be a lot of people that are just fucking desperate and they just want to play something. They're gonna purchase this, maybe me included, right? So that's also for people that well, usually wouldn't pay that much, obviously. And also, I think the biggest problem here is these are testers essentially. Like, you're paying $250 to test an incomplete game. You know? That is just kind of depressing, I will say. I pay to win now, so I'm not surprised. Sounds like D4. Wouldn't pay that much. I mean, you can't even try it unless you pay that much. That's also the thing, right? And the next problem with that is people who haven't bought it and people who will play the game when it launches will have a significant disadvantage. Because most people, well, if you play Alpha 2, then Beta 1, then Beta 2, it's going to be like years of knowledge.
River God Fuji just resubscribed for 3 months.
Thank you.
Be one with the river at Nico Tulo and Chat XD. A-OK.
Thank you, dude. Thank you. Welcome back. Alpha 2 key costs $250. It will be free right when it launches with a sub fee, I think. 3 advantage of knowledge, and there will be 50 guides. If not more. If not more than 2 years advantage. I don't know. I just find all of this setup so depressing. Even if the game's gonna end up being good in 3 years or whatever, it's just a very bad setup. And last time, if you guys remember, for Alpha 1, how much did you have to pay for Alpha 1? Was it $500? Was it 350 or something? 400? There you go. $400. 400, 500, something ridiculous. And last time it wasn't even a fucking game. Like last time it was literally just some asset flip that people were testing. It was terrible. Like welcome back, River Gone. This game will never have an authentic launch experience. Yeah. Nice doesn't mean they have talent. This have nothing more than other existing MMOs who failed. I do agree with that sentiment too. That technically just because they're showing everything doesn't mean they know what they're doing.
Yes.
Very cool. Now, this is obviously a big point of feedback that I think people can provide. Obviously, there's a lot of interesting thoughts around subjective, of course, around UI and decal elements that help to communicate kind of these AoEs. As Brian said, this is obviously going to be a decal
Listen,
that
man.
is...
First of all, criticism is good. Okay? First of all, good. People should be more critical of everything, and things would be better, okay? Also, the sentiment of give them time is crazy, considering they've been doing this for what, 6 years, 7 years this been in development? How much time do they need? 20 years? What the fuck are you talking about? You don't have to pay shit if you don't want to? Yes, but that's what I just talked about as well, right? I think a big issue of this to me is, and I feel inclined to buy it as well, is you are kind of exploiting the MMO community if you sell a fucking alpha test for $250. You are. It's absolutely exploitation. Because everyone knows there's no fucking MMO out there at all. But people like me, or people like probably a lot of you in the chat, are fucking desperate to play anything. So a lot of people will buy this just out of desperation for something to play, because there's zero competition in this fucking genre. And then you pair that with, you know, you being a tester, the game being absolutely incomplete. Like, it's just kind of, I hope that they have a content creator program so I can get in somehow without paying. But I'm not very hopeful, because if they've seen any of my reactions, they probably know that I'm very critical and suspicious, which they probably don't want. They probably want yes men, I would guess. Amount of game, then very cheap game for free, like Diablo Immortal. Some whales have spent $250,000 on this game. I will not buy a game at $250,000. It's insane. I mean, technically speaking, okay, if you buy $250 package and that's enough to set you up for 6 months of gameplay, and maybe beyond that with the Ember currency, maybe you can use that to buy more subscription or whatever. Probably not the worst deal in the world, probably. But that is, the problem here is it's completely ambiguous. Like, you don't even know if you're gonna play this for 6 months. You don't even know if you're gonna play this for a week, right? So how can you invest into a 6-month subscription when you don't even know if you like the game? You know? Mob, MMOs to play right now? Hell, I'm so desperate that I play Mortal Online too. Yeah, it's bad, man. What do you think the main reason so many MMOs fail? I know it's not easy for them, but like, doesn't feel like these developers are learning anything from all the failures around them. I mean, this game is going to be a little bit more up my alley, personally. And also, I think, generally speaking, a sandbox MMO has much more potential than a theme park MMO. So in that sense, they're doing a lot of things right, but I hope to see Guild Wars 3. Yeah, me too, man. I've been and changed system, different classes, and added content like good raids, dungeons. I mean, it's kind of what they're doing a little bit. Taking from it out of your pocket? Yeah, of course not, but it's still exploitation, I think. To an extent. An open alpha test, then yeah, I do think you should be able to try this for free. First and foremost. And then you can decide to buy it. When PTO? I hope never. Unless it's PTO Classic. The same viewer count as Asmongold, you can play the alpha for free. I mean, if you're Asmongold, you don't need to play it for free because you're a millionaire. I would not pay $500 for this regardless of how much money I have. This is just not worth that much. For one recent MMO currently in dev that you reacted to or even played, and that was a W. I can't. Because the only 2 MMOs that I think have potential that are currently in development we know nothing about. Which is the Ride MMO and which is Arcade 2. Ashes of Creation has theoretically the right idea of how a good game should be developed and designed. But whenever they show something, it takes way too long. I don't want to wait 10 years for a game. I don't. I really don't. I mean, isn't beta access like 25? To what? To get the first beta test, you need to pay $150. Arcade2 Keck? Yeah, it might be complete trash. That's what I'm saying. Like, I can't even say that the right MMO or Arcade2 is gonna be good because we don't know anything. Right? They know nothing about. I wonder why. Well, because everything else is bad. What else can you be hopeful about? Be coming anytime soon either? Yeah. Would be out sooner than Ashes of Creation. I mean, the Ghostcrawler MMO looks very questionable. Also, I've noticed something recently. Sorry, I'm on a fucking tangent right now. But I have noticed something recently. How many of like good old school developers are still good developers today? Because I don't know of a single one. Like they always say, oh, this guy used to make this game. It was so amazing. He's on the dev team. And then nothing happens. Or they're bringing back, what was his name? Brian Holinka for PvP and WoW. Everything's gonna get better. Nothing got better. What? I don't. That's also something I've noticed. That a lot of the old great developers nowadays, they either they don't even make games anymore, or their games suck. So I'm not really sure what's going on. Will it be a cash up in this game? Just cosmetic, they said. That's why I'm not super hopeful for the Ghostcrawler MMO either, because I don't know if that guy has any idea what the fuck he's doing. If I'm being completely honest. People also dislike those, potentially. Beat them shin, they will always come back. I mean, from creators up and it always turns to shit. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Most devs don't produce more than one good game. Original World of Warcraft creators, they're making a new game. No, a couple of the old people do work on Classic, I think, but I don't know about the other ones. Ghostcrawler joined WoW and Wrath, I think. So he's technically an old WoW developer, but well, every game that he worked on wasn't great either. So it's really hard to really gauge how good a game's gonna be nowadays, because no one is doing anything right. Did they make Pali? I don't know. Akeshu will be paid to win? Yeah, I would think so. I think Ghostcrawler was Age of Empires and WoW. Or Halo? No, that was another guy. Will AOC have a cash shop? Yes. But only cosmetic, they said.
Only shown to the caster, not shown across to multiple players. But what is the desire of our community when it comes to showcasing and demonstrating kind of the area of effect?
I did like the first showcase more too, but this is a short bow.
Obviously, this is done very elegantly.
It's a little bit different, I guess.
Well. I think it looks great. Yes. But this is something that is a point of feedback that we want to collect from players as you guys get to kind of play through Alpha 2, and as you're seeing these these updates, what do you enjoy most about conveying these area of effects? And this isn't the only area of effects spell we have. We also have Airstrike, and we've seen Airstrike in the past as well, but this one's received a little bit of TLC. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, and
no, the first showcase was nice because the bow stuff looked impactful. That's probably what they meant.
My voice a lot is I'm the owner of the Ranger, so
yes.
I'm in charge
Wallcraft?
of
I've not heard about that. What is it?
That's why I'm the one that's why you hear my voice a lot. Anyways, Airstrike. We gave this an update. We replaced the particle effects because they were way too laggy. So yeah, Scott again did a pass on these. They look amazing. We also let you have air control with this, so you can steer it while you're in the air.
I like that.
And we fine-tuned the animation. I believe Alex put in some time to make sure that it's
Ashes of
holding
Creation
you only for the right amount. It's not grabbing you and locking you in place weirdly on landing.
This is really gonna have an Alpha 2 test for $250 next year, Jules. Okay. Next year. So in probably September next year. In 2023, the most popular game is vanilla. WoW is crazy to me. It's. I made a short about this. Where is it? Did pretty well. Time travel in 2004. Everyone will still be playing this game in 20 years. Surely that's gonna happen. Yeah, it did happen, unfortunately.
Up how it feels whenever you use it, so it's just really seamless and nice to use. Oh, and the effect that it's providing, if you actually hit a target with it, it does pretty big damage and also roots the target. So this is a really good skill. Whenever your tank pulls in a big pack of monsters, you just airstrike over top of it, lock it all down in place, and then you and your mages blow up the pack.
I think it looks great. The animation changes that Alex.
I really like that ability.
Additional functionality that
looks
you guys
cool.
Incorporated as part of.
And also you have control over where you're going, which is really good.
People are gonna love. Obviously, Airstrike also is a significant mechanical benefit for the Ranger because it's, in addition to damage, is also a CC effect. Talk to me a little bit about the CC that Airstrike conveys, and what's its intended purpose like in combat. I mean, there's mobility associated with it, there's damage associated with it, there's CC. It's kind of has a broad spectrum of effect conveyed.
Yeah, it's a pretty powerful ability and has a long cooldown because it's providing that wide spectrum of effect. The Ranger is one of the most mobile classes. It's second to the Rogue only. So this is
Okay.
part of how we're providing that
I
mobility.
don't know if that's a
benefit.
good idea
Yeah,
to
whenever
make a ranged character the second most mobile class in the game. Could be a problem. But Ash looks like ice cream.
you hit targets,
You know,
they're
it
rooted
is.
in place. They
Although I do not care about graphics personally, I don't give a shit, right? It is a little bit weird that for Unreal Engine 5 it does look this scuffed, some of the areas.
cannot move. So it's very effective as an escape tool, but also a hard engage tool that kind of puts you at risk. But if you got a tank and a cleric at your back, maybe that's the right calculus for your play.
Absolutely. All right, cool. Let us try Thundering Shot. Talk to me a little bit about Thundering Shot.
Yeah, this is definitely a favorite ability on the team by a lot of people. It shoots a lightning arrow at the target, and if you're far enough away, I believe the conversion range is 10 meters, it does an additional AoE explosion around the
That
target.
animation looks fucking disgusting.
So that did 96. Let's
But
take a
obviously,
closer.
that's not very hard to change.
Oh. Okay, so it does variable amount of damage, and also it changes it to be AoE around the target.
Okay.
Yeah, so you get more damage. We wanted to have some abilities in the kit, at least with the showcase that we're showing right now, where it's range focus, where there is some advantage for staying at range, and also there's some advantage.
Actually,
for
I'd
closing on a
like
ranger.
that.
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool.
I like not the
next-
ability, but I like that there's variants that if you're too close, it doesn't do the AoE and it does less damage. That's good. That's a good design point there, I think.
Next up, we have another lightning ability, but this one's called Lightning Reload. Talk to me a little bit about Lightning Reload, Trad.
Catapult. Yeah,
This
I
one's
like
more
that.
of
I
a
like that
self-buff
having like more
effect,
intrinsic
when you put it on yourself.
mechanics to abilities, where it's just not you click button and it does thing, right? It has a little bit more to it. So if you, it allows for counterplay, right? So if, let's say this is a big problem in PvP, this ability, the best way to avoid a lot of the damage of it is just being closer. So you can play around that technically, you know? I do like the direction of that for sure. Although, again, the animation of this is gross. Have you tried once human? Nope.
It will allow you to use one of a few abilities without spending its cooldown. So I believe a couple of them are like Snipe, Headshot, Thundering Shot, ones we've already been through.
Okay.
If you pop that first, you get about a 5-second window, and if you use one of those abilities within that window, it will not trigger the CD, meaning you could use it.
These games are
twice
like 10 years
back-to-back.
old.
You can also even use them.
Yeah, so I think this game is gonna be closer to Guild Wars. And maybe even Classic WoW. It almost reminds me a little bit of Classic WoW, like modernized Classic WoW combat, which isn't necessarily bad, but obviously it's also not Lost Ark or BDO level of gameplay, right? So yeah, I mean, if for a game that's gonna release in 5 years, could be better. But then again, we're just seeing the basics, I guess. But you know,
something that's already on cooldown by popping that first, so it's not like you have to already have it available.
it has
so
a
you
range.
can
I
use
have
it
no
in a lot of
idea.
pinches.
They didn't
So
show
this is
that.
another concurrent channel effect that I can use. Brian, what are some of the cool combos with this?
Yeah, one of my favorite ones is the
Makes the
triple
look better.
headshot combo. So if a
I don't
target
know.
is marked, headshot on them has 50% reduced cooldown if you're spec'd for it. So what you can do is you can mark someone, you can headshot, and as you're charging up the first headshot, throw a mark. And then whenever the headshot hits, you lightning reload, and then you get 2 more headshots right after that. And it makes a really nasty combo for finishing off a target that's already below 50% health, because you're getting that bonus damage on headshot too at that point, which makes its efficiency per second higher than Snipe.
Okay,
Well, what
so
I'm saying is,
Mark of
at
the Ra-
least they're thinking a little bit further than a lot of the other MMOs. At least they're thinking in synergies and mechanics a little bit more, which is a good sign. But is that enough? And will it actually work the way they're describing it? Again, it's unheard of in MMOs. No, I don't mean the headshot mechanic. I mean as in like the lightning arrow. That if you're closer, it does something different and stuff like that. Stupidly enough, a lot of modern games don't even think about that. Like, I'm praising them for implementing 20-year-old game mechanics. Because modern games do not even do that anymore. Modern games are so fucking bad, they don't even think of the first thing. They just say, oh, button press does this, bang, done, you know? Although the skill tree also looks pretty bad, I would say.
Even. Okay, which one gives the...
And modern ammos is absolutely
mark benefit
disgusting,
we were talking
yes.
about for headshot?
Oh, any of the marks will do it.
Okay,
any of the
cool.
marks will provide a 50% reduced cooldown on headshot.
All right, and I currently have hunt, physical penetration, but we've already determined that you don't have enough physical mitigation. So let us do. Hunt
Forget
of
it's
the
an
Tiger,
alpha? Yeah, and you forget it's an alpha that's been in
and let us
development for 7
apply
years.
Mark of the Bear on you. While we're casting 3. So it's going to be 3 shift 4. And then you said lightning reload and 3 twice more.
Yes.
Should I start with snipe first?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, so snipe to 3 while doing Mark of the Bear. All right, let's try
Yeah.
that.
I'm gonna need some heals, Strad.
Really?
Oh, but you know what? I did that with the cooldown set to
Yeah.
nothing. Oh no, hold on. Let me set that back to 1. Okay, so this is the normal cooldown frequency. Okay. Oh,
Not representative of real gameplay.
correct. Yes. All right, let's try that again. I'm going to do the Mark of the Bear. All right, here we go.
I have no idea, Nefer. He clicks his button!
Ooh, okay, very cool. Oh, that was awesome.
Yeah, it feels pretty crisp, and yeah, if Keenan was below half health there, he would have taken. I mean, he might have died.
Oh my God, Keenan.
Not with me as his healer.
I know. You're too good.
All right, let me set cooldowns back.
Didn't
we're
have
gonna
hundreds
max
from
out
the
mana.
start.
Okay, we've showed off.
I mean, even if that's the case, okay,
lightning
even
reload.
if that's the case, if you compare this combat to their battle royale combat, in which time they have increased their staff by like a multitude, right? It still isn't progressing much faster, at least not from an onlooker's point of view, right? That's also definitely worrying, because if they're going at the similar pace they're going now, and especially if you understand how much they are promising or how much they're trying to do in this game, because there's so many insanely in-depth things. There's a much more abilities per class. There's augmentation for all of these abilities per secondary class that you have, and additional factors like church alignment or whatever the fuck, where I think there's also augmentation there. There's so much stuff that they're not even close to doing. The profession system looked as simple as it can possibly be. The node system doesn't seem to be very fleshed out yet either, and all of those systems require insane amount of effort. So that's my biggest worry, right? Outside of the price point, my biggest worry is this game is not going to release for another 10 years. You know? So, and we're just going to play Alpha 2 and then Beta 1 and then Beta 2 for 10 years. And then the game's going to fucking release eventually, you know? What will be currently will make this look like Minecraft? That might be the case too, yeah. I just don't believe any of these systems are going to end up being ideal. Well, that's the next problem, right? Like, first of all, they need to make the systems. They didn't even make the systems yet. And then if the systems are in place, what if they're not even good? Then they have to reiterate on those systems. And then let's say eventually the systems are good, but maybe they're not balanced. Then they have to reiterate on the systems again because some shit doesn't work and it's completely broken. They have to you know what I mean? Like, there's so many steps. This game is so many steps away from having anything remotely complete, you know?
Next up, I have Bear Trap. Talk to me a little bit about Bear Trap.
Yes, Bear Trap. So we went through a couple iterations on this. We wanted a very solid trap ability. It's right in the name. But often in games, they're either too small, they activate too short, they're just not, or they don't last long enough.
As I said, like, I don't mind this taking longer, but that also means, you know, that it needs to hold up for that time frame, and also it needs to hold up for their price point, right?
Ways for a trap to suck, and we think we got Bear Trap in a decent spot.
If you're right, for 10 years,
it's pretty usable.
They did say Alpha 2 is basically like a consistent experience, so you can keep playing it, right? But again, that comes with its own issues as well, because that means people who aren't buying the fucking Alpha 2 pack for $250 will be significantly behind in knowledge and how the game works. So when people eventually, so you play Alpha 2, then you play Beta 1, Beta 2, Open Beta, whatever the fuck, the game comes officially out, and every new player that actually plays it on launch will be literally 10 years behind everyone else. Although it just launched. So it comes with its own problems too, right?
You can pre-place them on the ground. They last for, I believe, 30 seconds after you place them. So it's a very strategic ability, allowing for zone control. You can place these in between you and a hostile target and kite them into it. You can make like a little trap wall in front of you so that if people are closing on you,
those are big fucking traps.
You're setting up a gank and you want to set that up beforehand, so whenever there's a counterattack, you're already prepared for it.
Very cool.
It definitely benefits that strategically minded player.
Very nice. That looks that feels great. Can I hit my own Bear Trap? No, I'm just kidding.
No, thankfully.
I hope not.
But if I did, I'd have Call of the Wild.
Yes. Maybe we should just show that one.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a Kickstarter project, so they didn't have a choice.
It is a CC break and a movement buff. So if you get hit with a nasty stun or something,
that they have a CC break
and run away.
Ooh,
reaction time
cool. I
on
love the
50-year-old.
effects. That looked awesome. Wait, let's try that one more time.
On into the alphas, they already RMT in other games.
I gotta wait for the.
Yeah, that's also like things that they all. That's what I'm saying. Okay, there's so many things. What are they gonna do about botting? What are they gonna do about RMTing? Are they gonna have a full fucking infrastructure to not make the economy break apart in 2 weeks? Which is happening in literally every other MMO right now, because literally every other MMO is riddled with bots and RMT, and no one is doing anything about it. Like, there's so many things that you have to think about. Can I say they're good games? What are
the Ranger is a fairly fragile class overall, so if they get a stun on them and it doesn't get cleansed,
Assassin's Creed.
Here, I'll do it again.
They'd be very nasty.
Ooh, that was good. That's great.
He had a multi-boxer in Alpha 1? How the fuck does this happen? So someone sat there and bought 10 accounts for Alpha 1. Is that what you're saying? So someone went out of their way who bought fucking $5,000 or what, 3 accounts, $1,500 and multi-boxed. Jesus fucking Christ. I've never understood why people even multi-box in the first place, dude. But why the no, dude, no.
Of CC breaks, just because that is one of the things where players want answers to those kinds of situations, and that'll be part of your spec choice, right? Is like, how much do you want to build into your ability to resist and break CC versus just be like a raw glass cannon, and accepting those risks. That all factors into like the decision making when it comes to specs.
Yeah, one of the pillars that we're trying to build combat on top of is giving players the true feeling of agency, like they're really in control of their character and what happens to their character, rather than just watching stuff happen to them.
I can't watch this guy play the game.
Oh, it feels so good. Keenan, come
He's
over here.
He's clicking all of his abilities.
Let me try this next ability, Raining Death. I love the name of that, by the way. Feels like a perfect like band name for a heavy metal group.
Yeah, like a Slayer song.
I know. All right, very
Yes.
cool.
So Raining Death is also using a caster side targeting decal. So again, only the caster is seeing that targeting decal. And that allows them to line it up a little bit better and make sure they're hitting the targets that they want to hit. And another thing to note is we are making the spread of projectiles a little more even and dense. So yeah, as you notice, there's some spots in the decal that don't look like they're getting hit. They are actually getting hit because of this homing arrow tech. There's actually a hitbox that's being drawn there, and every target within that hitbox is getting a homing arrow fired at it. Actually, 2 homing arrows fired at it. So it is hitting stuff, even though it might not look like it right now. We're gonna improve that a little bit more. And Scattershot has a little bit of the same thing going on, where the spread's not really perfect, but yeah, that's currently in progress with our VFX artists to make it a little bit better.
Yeah, it's a good representation of like where we've been trying to find a balance between making these abilities feel organic and not super like templated to use, but at the same time, at the end of the day, like gameplay is the name of the game, and we want
watch this, chat.
these things to be reliable.
Why
and
does he not even
consistent,
know
both
how to
from,
use his keybinds?
The users and well,
Oh my
look
God.
at that! You're
Oh
taking
no.
advantage of the fact that I'm talking.
He just
I
turned
I
into
should have
ash.
expected that from you.
He just turned into ash.
That's okay. I rezzed him.
Oh,
You
that
gotta
was
roll.
so good. That was so good. That was a little ash loot
I mean,
power
again,
bouncing
I
around.
think maybe the gameplay is much better than what we see because Steven has no idea how to control his character. You know, that can absolutely be one contributor why it looks worse than it could. You know, that's why I kept saying for the last 3 years that they need to put someone in there showing this gameplay like of someone who kind of knows what the fuck they're doing. You know.
I forgot what you were
Drop some
saying too.
stuff.
That was a great effect. I think Siva worked on excuse me. I think Siva worked on that as well as the snipe.
Maybe he wants people
author
to
as well.
read the spells in the mouse over.
But yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think so.
Raining Death is an example where we iterate on these abilities multiple times, and sometimes it requires a complete rebuild. This is, I think, the 3rd complete rebuild of that ability, because the previous versions just weren't good enough for our players. They were more direct fire projectile based, which is pretty cool because you see there's a direct connection between the projectile and dealing damage, but we found a solution where we can simulate the appearance of all the projectiles hitting, and then we can also have a homing volume underneath that. So it's very reliable while also looking super
Out of mana. Sorry, Keenan.
Oh no, Keenan!
Oh no.
Oh, he's corrupted. Look at that.
Oh, did
Oh,
I turn
man.
corrupt?
Oh, I gotta take advantage of it.
Oh no. No. Wait a minute. I have no cooldown.
You pissed off the cleric.
How did I go corrupt?
By
do you mean,
killing
how
an
did you
innocent
go
player.
Nice.
Oh, we did it! Okay, wait.
Close one.
Don't kill me. Let me get back to what I was doing. All right, sorry. So,
See, Steven's a good player, guys.
yay! How dare you? Just because I show at a lower APM so everyone can see the
Yeah,
fidelity of the
surely you're doing
effects
that.
and the gameplay around the
Yeah.
environment and the NPCs.
Yeah,
Doesn't mean I
yeah.
don't have a little bit of
Yeah.
what is it called? Juice?
We'll just call it a dark side.
What is it called? The juice box? I can't remember.
Yeah.
All right. So we showed off a
The
little
comment
bit
is
of the,
mostly tabbed for
the
more
bear claw. I mean the bear trap.
on this
The,
character anyways.
Call of the Wild. We went through Lightning Reload and Thundering Shot. We talked about the marks and the different hunts that exist. We have Disengage to show.
Yes.
Let's talk about
Disengage. Whenever you only have the ability, and you haven't unlocked any of the passives involved with Disengage, it'll shoot you right back whenever you press it. So it's really good for creating space between you and some targets that are charging at you. You can just hit Disengage and you'll flip back.
All right, let me try that now. Go.
And yeah, like Steven's
So like the
demonstrating,
WoW
you can also
Disengage.
use it for traversal.
You can use it while jumping. That's pretty
Something
cool.
that we learned with disengage, though,
I
is
guess.
people have different preferences for how.
Again, I'm so fucked, dude. I look at like the most basic shit and I'm impressed because all of the other games feel like you have fucking gloves on while playing. Throne and Liberty, yeah, that doesn't look too bad. I guess that it reminds me of like WoW Guild Wars 2 R-Gauge, which isn't, well, for a game that releases in 2027 is probably not that good idea, but it's better than whatever the other shit is.
How they want this ability to activate. There's some people who've played a lot of Ranger who
I'm not
just
hyping
like, you
shit.
know what? I don't want to have to spin my camera around to press disengage, and to be able to go forward. I just want it to go forward when I press the button. So we made this omnidirectional disengage option, which costs 0 skill points.
Yeah, that's awesome. But in the future, that'll be kind of an ability option.
Throne's combat.
Choose,
well, Throne's
right?
combat
not
system is better.
Through a passive effect.
Not good.
Right.
That's the intent.
Correct.
Yes, that is the intent. We still need to do some work on how we're gonna like display that to the player to make sure it's as apparent as a spec option, right? Because that's very apparent that you have that choice. And it can often be lame in games whenever how the min-max is all in the options menu. But we're gonna make sure that that's nice and clean for our players, and it's very apparent the options that they have available to them. But yeah, whenever you have the omnidirectional option engaged, now whenever you're pressing a movement key, disengage will send you in that direction instead of straight back.
Okay.
Very cool. All right, and then last but not least, and then we'll go up to the to the environment and just kind of play together a little bit, is the imbue ammo. Talk to me about imbue ammo.
Yep, so imbue ammo, whenever you cast it, it'll imbue your next, currently they're set up to imbue your next 10 shots, and this will probably go through another iteration, but currently it imbues your next 10 shots with a special effect. So we've got weighted ammo, concussive ammo, and barbed ammo right now. We're probably going to add more in the future. These are ammo imbues, so you're imbuing your next 10 shots with this effect. Weighted ammunition is a snaring effect, barbed is a bleed effect, and concussive is a stagger effect. Stagger reduces accuracy and evasion.
Nice. Okay.
And it also increases trip duration. So
Very
go
cool.
ahead.
Keenan, try just kind of running down this path, and let me do some weighted shots.
Another element of detail that I really like that you were down for going for, Steven, was it actually changing the appearance of the ammunition whenever you're firing it.
Absolutely.
So when you load up weighted shot, it will actually swap your bullets that you're firing, not bullets, your arrows that you're firing to look the part.
I can't stop
and
that.
Currently it swaps over both basic attacks and barrage.
Again, I'm giving them props, but it really looks like Guild Wars combat to me. Which isn't a bad thing, because Guild Wars combat is good. I do like Guild Wars combat. I think Guild Wars combat is really nice. But again, I do understand why people would be very hesitant of liking something like this, because it's old, right? It's an old combat system that they're using. I personally, for me, this combat, as long as it feels fluid and it allows for control over your character, I'm completely fine with this, personally. Now, will this bring swing the pendulum back to MMOs being successful again? Probably not. I wouldn't think that a lot of new players would want to play this game. Rather, just a lot of old school MMO players would probably play this, right? Been flying with AOC copium videos on YouTube lately. I mean, again, I'll just say this, okay? If anyone from, well, there's an ad. Do you guys see an ad right now? LDC, how you doing? I don't know. It's
very cool.
Yeah, if you want to cast your...
I don't know why I'm asking if there's an ad right now. You guys can obviously not answer if you are watching an ad. I don't know.
And then cast barrage, you can show that off.
Let's do it. Let me do probably. Let's do weighted as you're running again. Let's try that. That's so cool. Very cool. All right, let me set my cooldowns to something that's representative of real gameplay, although I have far more abilities than I should at level 7, but that's okay. And I will join your party now. Oh, no.
If we can even invite you.
No, you can. You can.
Oh,
I'm only
nice. Okay.
corrupted. I mean, I'm not like a monster. Come on now.
It's true, true.
Now, you might, however, flag when you heal me, but, that's okay.
We'll see.
What do we got over here? Oh, I love that. That's awesome. Whoops. Oh, wow.
Nice.
And then there's also like a bunch of things regarding mob AI, mob abilities, PvE challenges, like having good design on monsters and bosses. There's so many layers of this game that are still missing. And that's why I'm thinking like, if any, okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. If any Ashes of Creation devs or people affiliated with it are in the chat right now, which you probably aren't because it's midnight for you or some shit, just don't make it fucking last another 10 years until this comes out. Like, the biggest issue I have with this is that it looks like it's another 10 years away from releasing. That is my biggest problem I have with all of this. I think this is probably not gonna release, or no, that's actually not the right. It's not gonna be a complete game unless they put another 10 years of developer time into it. 10 years. That's genuinely my assumption, that this game is not gonna feel finished until 10 years from fucking now. Like, I'm not even exaggerating when I say 10 years, by the way. Because right now what we're seeing is the bare minimum. With combat system that is 10 years old. Which, again, for me personally, I don't mind. I like Guild Wars 2 combat system. I like Arcade combat. Obviously, I would rather have action combat, like BDO or Dragoness or something like that. And then in a modern way, you know, that it's not scuffed. I would obviously prefer that. But I don't personally, this combat system for me is good enough, technically. If the rest of the game is insane, I'm fine with this. But again, I'm not so much worried about the combat, I'm worried about everything else. You need so many more abilities, you need ability augments, you need proper nodes. Each node needs their own quest, their own bosses, their own infrastructure. There's like 90 different nodes with different stages of the nodes. You need to do all of the fucking religion stuff that you have. You need to do guild stuff. You need to do PvP. You need to do PvP systems. So the open world PvP is not fucking scuffed. You need to work on every system in the game for another 50 years for anything to be finalized. The monsters are literal just assets walking around right now. That takes another hella amount of time to make proper mob AI and make the monsters actually interesting and make the bosses actually interesting. Then you need to balance all of these things together. You need to balance the economy somehow, that profession gains and grinding gains are somehow somewhat balanced, that it's not just leaning into one side of everything. You need to make an interesting experience on every level. For a game this large, this gotta take 10 fucking years. It's gonna take 10 fucking years to do all these things. That's what's so crazy about it. Like, again, I don't mind this combat. You can keep these icons. I like these icons. Keep the icons. I don't care. But it's just gonna take, like, all of these other things, there's so much that is missing. Not even all the classes, not even half the classes are in, as far as I understand. And then there's another system on top of that, because just because you have all the classes, you need proper talent trees. As you saw, the talent tree was bare bones at best. Then not only do you need that, this game has a double class system. So then if you have a secondary class, that augments your main class's abilities. So then you need to make fucking, I don't know, 16 versions of every ability in the game, if not more. and you can't. Right now we have the bare minimum of 4, right? 64 classes, yeah, no, but like per archetype, I mean. Like this is the scope of this game is massive. And you don't even have monsters in place yet. You don't even have the basics of the classes in place yet. What about itemization? What about augmenting gameplay and endgame? What about, like, there's so many fucking things. Like, I could talk about 10 hours what is missing from what we've seen so far. Like, the scope of this game does not align with the progress you're making, is what I'm saying. Yeah. Sell for hundreds of dollars before the game releases? Yeah, I mean, that's...
The snipe followed the target. That was crazy.
Oh yeah, there's a little
Crowdfall
bit
angle.
of aim offset there in animation.
I mean, this is already
that we
more
did.
advanced than Crowdfall ever
Yeah, that
was.
looks great.
But I mean, that's not a good...
Quite a few of the bow
It's not very
abilities
hard
do it,
to do.
actually. It's just a lot more obvious with snipe.
Yeah, headshot's another one. As long as it's within a certain angle, it'll try to maintain tracking of the target. And yeah, the way that we pulled it off, it's not like affecting your control rotation at all. It's just an appearance thing.
Oh, it feels good. Feels very good.
It does not suck AO cock.
Yeah,
I mean,
it
I
did
mean,
not
as I said, I don't
feel
know
this
how
good.
you can have any other take towards this. Because if you understand what this game is trying to do, then you need to understand that this is 10 years away from actually being realized, right? If not more. Because at the progress they're going, it could take another 50 years. This game is, what they're trying to make is massive. Just the node system alone is gonna take forever to design for 90 different nodes or whatever it is. Years 2032, they announced they will take a couple more years to rebuild the game in Unreal Engine 7, and you should enjoy the $50 cosmetic pack. Yeah, I don't know. The game's never coming out of alpha? That's what I'm thinking. Your games take time to make? Yeah, but maybe not 20 years. Okay, maybe not.
Good. A while ago, I really want to give credit to our playtesting process. This was in a much rougher state a couple months ago.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we get in the game, we play test it the same way that the players will be play testing it to make sure that it's going to be awesome.
Absolutely. I think one of the great things that your team has done is you've really defined your iterative loop.
I think the
right?
what will
most
break the
important aspect
camel's
of that
back
loop is going
of this game is time. I think they're way too lax. They're way too relaxed about how this game is progressing. And the community is not doing a very good job at reminding them either. Like, they're all, oh my god, this is such good progress. Listen, if this, they will run out of money eventually. Especially because it's a big project now. You know? They will have a big money infusion in next year when Alpha 2 comes out. That's probably why they're releasing it, because there's no way this is actually properly playable yet, this game. And then what? There's no monetary reason to hurry. I mean, let's assume they have 200 people. You know how expensive that is? You have 200 people working on a game. The salaries you need to pay. The campus you need to fucking pay rent for every month. Food. The engines that you have to pay or whatever the fuck. Photoshop licenses that you need to have. Whatever it is, right? Looks better than what I expected. Already TL killer. Not super hard. Once a good MMO comes out, all the crowdfunding is out the window. That too. Once they have competition, but no one's gonna buy this. As long as I can play with my packages, all playtest, I'm cool with it. You can probably if you buy a $250 one. 150 people in 2018, and I think I did it in 2022, and 150 isn't even that much. Yeah, and also they're not hiring me. They need someone to give them a reality check. So fucking happy I did not put a dime into this. I think a lot of people will feel like that. I said it 4 years ago. Yeah, well, I mean, then you were probably fine. And sell bundles to a game they will never finish. I mean, always have the choice to vote with their wallet. Yeah, of course. And that's what I think it will. That's what I'm saying. Time will kill this game. Because if they take another 10 years for this to finish, eventually competition will release, surely. Eventually Guild Wars 3 will release. Eventually ArcheAge 2 will release. Eventually the Ride MMO will release. What are they gonna do then? Like right now, Ashes is kind of the only tangible game that's even in development, right? The only thing you can watch on it, and you know that it's gonna go somewhere at least, right? Are you to spend the $250 just to react to alpha gameplay? I have no idea. I don't want to spend that. I definitely don't want to spend $250 to be an alpha tester. And sell bundles to a game they will never finish. I mean, I guess. Coming out, just make BDO seem like a godsend. I mean, I wouldn't play modern BDO either, personally. On the horizon, it's just Ashes of Creation and Ride MMO. Unless I make one, of course. Yeah. Why you're wrong? I mean, what is this Guild Wars 2? It kinda is. What is the most promising MMO at the moment? There isn't any. Making Asmongold? I don't know.
The playtesting aspect, which you guys playtest. I mean, I think every day, right? With
I mean, I agree, Jules, but at the same time,
helping to define.
Have we gotten a single good game in the last 5 years? I mean, kind of. We got Lost Ark, and New World was also okay. I mean, New World was definitely not good. New World was like a, as I said, what was it? My score was a 3.5 out of 10. Yeah, I don't know. Really good by now? Yeah, maybe. I haven't tried it. Would you mainly play any of the upcoming ones as in long term over current ones though? I mean, I'm not playing any current ones. So of course I would rather play new ones. Because right now I'm not playing any. I mean, Crimson Desert is not an MMO, Jules. Like I would play these, but I don't think these are compelling though. I mean, yeah, I don't think any are. We'll see about that. I hope you're right, but I really don't think so. I hope you're right, but I really don't think so. There is like this rumor going around that Crimson Desert was just changed to be a single player game, just so they can that the BDO players don't quit. So when it actually gets released, they're saying, "Oh well, it's an MMO after all. Now you can quit." You know, that kind of thing. I don't think so though. I don't think so. And it has multiplayer? Yeah, co-op, like Genshin Impact. It's not an MMO either.
Obviously not just the player character and the abilities you guys are authoring, but also the playable space and the playable enemies that you're encountering as part of this whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's important to note even when we're not in official playtests, like when we're building these things, we make it a key point to be playing the stuff as we're building it. Like the designers aren't just making stuff on paper and handing it off. We're in this.
Whatever happened to sequels? What happened? People were just like, nah, why would we make a sequel if the previous one already is still making money? Right? What if Crimson, they could have made Crimson Desert just BDO2. Made it better, improved it, no more bullshit desync, better engine, all of these things, right? Just make a sequel. I don't know what happened.
Tools, we're building these things, and we're in a game environment, and it's, I think
I
part of the
did see
reason
that,
that
Pawn
these
you.
things
I did see that, yep.
come together so nicely is we can like build them in real time and play them in real time as we do so.
Yeah, I mean it is.
It'll help, guys.
Oh wait, hold on. I'm just
Got you.
taking in the view a little bit over here because it is a beautiful view.
It is definitely beautiful. And I love all the
But you know what,
verticality
all
on our
this-
maps.
well, I
but
was just on a
has
tangent for
definitely
like
forced
30
us
minutes.
to make
I
ability.
think it looks fine, like graphically. I think the abilities look, well, they don't really look fine, but the combat looks okay. For me, at least. It's not a good. It's not the next level combat system. It's not dog shit either. But I think everything else, which makes an MMO, which is the systems, the balance, the PvP, the PvE, the professions, the open world, the monster AI, the bosses, all of those things are not in place at all. So I think this game's not gonna release for another 10 years. Yeah, that's what I think. We play BDO2, yeah. Able Story 2 died. That was a terrible sequel, though. So all once this game is good, yeah, if it's ever gonna be good, right? That's also just speculation. The Archer video from
Please,
1
in a
year ago
bet-
was very different because it was longbow.
better way. If we just had flat arenas like every other
Like
game,
7 years
it would be
ago,
way
Goose or
easier
something like that?
to make all this stuff. But that's why we were forced to make the cool homing hitbox tech that both Scattershot and Raining Death are using, because we're playtesting in the environment, we're figuring out what works or what doesn't, and then we're adjusting and building new stuff to fit.
Oh, it feels so good. Love the combat with this Ranger. And obviously we have a big showcase next month with regards to PvP in a more raid format. And you guys are going to be seeing some changes that are done to the mage effects as well, yeah? I think Scott's
yeah.
working on that now. Oh my god.
Scott and Siva, I believe, are both working on the mage next, so that'll be very exciting to see that get another pass, because man, the mage can really throw down the particle effects.
Diablo 5?
Wow, that was a big pull actually.
Yeah, and Diablo 5 is gonna cost $250 as well.
Shredded.
I love this area.
New door tech. Now you can open a
The
door.
mixture of creatures here is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I actually, like, the Raven has gone through a bunch of iterations, but I do like the current iteration of it. It could be a little bit more deadly, but I think it's fulfilling its role of like that
I think Rise of
popcorn mob.
Kingdom.
It's super
What-
annoying, but you
I
can,
don't
you can
even
kill
wanna
it
know
really
what that
fast
is.
if you focus it
That's
down.
a
then it
mobile
won't give you as
game,
many issues.
Probably.
Oh man, you just one-shot
I
that thing?
just one-shot that Raven.
Starfield needs that
By the way,
tech.
Steven, isn't that shard over there like kind of more relevant?
I mean,
Which one? Oh, good call.
do you think about
Yeah,
the
we should talk
combat
a little
now?
bit about this zone.
it's Guild Wars combat. So it's 10-year-old combat, and it's gonna release in 10 years. Or that's what I'm speculating anyways. So it's gonna be 20-year-old combat by the time this comes out. Which
So
again, I personally don't even mind. Because I like Guild Wars 2 combat, but you know.
this is a small point of interest within the Riverlands area.
Perfect
Obviously, we're
New
in
World
Riverlands,
stream?
it
What do
is
you mean?
winter.
I promised. I didn't promise shit.
And this particular location, called the Gem Spring, is
I already
a
replaced
remnant,
SOD.
a
I'm not
shard
even anymore. I
remnant
just
of
got
one of the
enough gold for next phase, and now I'm gonna not play it.
Harbingers.
But you know the unironic truth to MMOs right now? If you want actually like relevant competition in an MMO, you want to compete in something MMO related, you actually have to play retail fucking WoW. That is the saddest thing in the world.
That broke off and actually has begun
They have
some interesting
PvP tournaments, they have
interaction
Mythic
with
Plus
Essence within
tournaments,
this
they
area.
have
So,
race
those of you
race to
guys
world
who are
first
gonna be
stuff.
participating in Alpha 2, this will be a location where you're going to have some related
What
quests.
the fuck is
And
Rise
this
of
gives you an idea
Kingdoms?
about Gem Springs.
Rise?
Oh, we're here. Gem Springs.
Jules, you're trolling me. I know you're trolling me.
What do you say?
Jesus
Should we
Christ.
just do like a massive AoE?
Oh gosh. Alright.
Do you want to
Do it.
pull him?
Really?
Yeah.
Really? You want me to play that?
Get it all. Get
Keep
it
him
all.
in chains though. I got an AoE down. Pull him back in.
What are
As
you?
many
What?
as you
No,
can.
Oh my god.
no.
Yeah, big
No.
chungus pull.
I'm gonna go all the way around.
Jules is giving me content.
Oh,
Okay,
God.
here they come.
Slight,
okay, where
pay
you at?
for
Where you at?
convenience. Yeah, sure.
They're right here. Oh, they leashed.
Did you cancel on Twitch? Why? Who cancels you?
Okay, we got some.
I
of
mean,
them.
again, Guild Wars 2 released when 10 years ago or some shit. So obviously, I don't want a game that releases in 2030 to have Guild Wars 2 combat, but I personally don't mind. Slightly pay to win.
That wasn't bad. That wasn't too bad.
Fortunately, these guys are just kind of slow.
I have never in my life played a mobile game ever outside of Cut the Rope. Where you cut a rope and there's candy for a dinosaur. I played that when I was in high school for 3 minutes once. Okay, I am a pure human, okay? I wasn't tainted and stained by fucking mobile game bullshit, okay? I did play Genshin, but I did play it on PC and I only played it for a week, okay? When it launched. Yeah. Not even Temple Run. I played Doodle Jump once before. What's the reason why you stopped playing Lost Ark? Actually, the main reason is that I'm bored of dailies and weeklies. And then the second biggest reason is that every content Lost Ark gets is delayed by 3 or 4 months before we get it. So it's much more boring when we get it. But those two things, yeah.
What am I, Cillian? Let's take a look at their.
Not the Ravens though.
Ooh, the Ravens are quick. Ooh.
Yeah, of course, Jules was sarcastic. Okay, calm down.
Oh, they push you out of the way.
A good run in Lost Ark though. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I did have a pretty good run in Lost Ark. But ever since I haven't. So someone needs to release a fucking game. And at this rate, I have to spend $250 to play anything. You know, that's the stage I'm in. I need to buy a fucking Ashes of Creation alpha tester package for $250 because otherwise I can't play a video game anymore. Like, what the fuck is that?
Woo! That was awesome. We cleaned up this place. That was very cool.
Yeah, I really need
Once
to
I
get some
become a
better gear.
billionaire,
The
I'll
damage
consult
is
you. Thank you,
terrible.
Haste. I appreciate that.
There is something for us to discover up at the top.
Consider me.
Should we
New
go
class
check
in video, it's hammer time? No. If it was a dwarf, maybe. But since they made it another anime waifu, no. Absolutely not gonna check that out.
These poor spiders.
Wait, that's a named mob.
Oh no!
The combat looks worse than New World. I mean, it
Is it
depends
really?
what you like, I guess.
Yeah,
I think they're both similarly old.
that's got like
Okay.
2.5k health.
Alright,
It's just a bigger spider.
wait a
It's
minute.
like 3 times the normal spiders.
Let's see. No. It is, it has a lot of hit points here.
It really does.
I need a tank.
Real
I'm
waifu Cell,
trying.
it
My
is what
damage
it
is
is.
just so bad.
You know what, Cells? Good game. How about, why did no one come up with that yet?
Get some
You don't need a
Raven
tank.
Arc. Wait for it.
Oh, there he goes.
Later, that one looked pretty cool. That
Oh, I think we
smoke
leashed him.
sword class.
Oh no. Kill him quick.
No,
I'm
kill him.
looking. I mean,
Kill him.
Snare him.
not really.
Oh no! Oh no!
Wow.
You see
That's
how
a classic
terrible the
moment
mob
right
AI
there.
is?
All right, let's take him down. Let's take him down. Come on. Now.
Or mob attacks.
All right, all deeps.
Like as I said, I think they have nothing to show for besides what they're showing every month. And if that's true, this game is so fucking far away. It's so fucking far away. Lost Ark 2, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Come on now. Switch to this one.
Less class, less region, and complex systems, but that's over time.
He doesn't
yeah,
hit that hard,
of
so.
course. Even a shit one is insane. Well, again, as I said, I think what they're trying to make with this is incredibly ambitious. This is basically as if you would do like vanilla WoW, which is already way bigger than any modern games, and then you add like a couple of layers on top of it, you know? Like it's so like the scope of this is actually unprecedented in any other game, and then you contrast that with what they have to show for right now. It's like you guys are like 5% done, you know, 10% maybe.
We did it.
Yay.
We have done it.
Yeah,
We've
with
done the thing.
vanilla
Look
WoW
at
didn't
this
take very
view.
long comparatively.
Good God, man. It looks so good. How do we climb up here? Where are you going?
I'm just getting a better view.
Okay, hold on. Oh,
This is nice.
New game,
this
yeah,
is
man.
Carfins
True.
in the distance.
It's a familiar point of interest.
Diablo
Looks
6.
Beautiful.
World of Diablo.
Holy
Something over
smokes.
here.
Where?
No one wants to play
Over
that
yonder,
shit either.
around the rocks.
I'm coming. I'm on my way.
I don't mind the
Oh,
graphics.
what
They
is
can have
that?
these graphics. I don't care. Like
What
graphics,
is
this is
that?
good enough. I don't really mind better
It's a little
graphics.
sandal
My
surprise
PC's
left to
dog
us
shit
from our,
anyways.
lovely environment artists.
You know?
It probably belongs to
Oh.
that spider back there.
No, we found its nest. Its
Yeah,
sandal
forgot.
nest. We killed it, and it had a
They
sandal
made a tree
nest
with sandals.
in adoration to the sandal wisdom. This looks amazing. Oh, I love it. Tristan and the environment team must have done an awesome job.
Thank you
here.
for the
Some of
prime
these,
and
I've
the
never seen
23.
Kira just
That's new.
resubscribed for
That's different. I wonder if
23
the wind
months.
speed affects it.
Kira Louvre.
I see the sandals.
It does.
Thank
Oh,
you.
does it really?
The
Yeah, it
graphics
does.
are good, but
Oh,
the
that's so
issue
good.
is
That
how
is so
slow
awesome.
the gameplay looks for me.
Oh, is there like a little jump puzzle? Can you get up there?
Even that I don't
Yeah.
mind.
Oh,
Even the
you can get on the big
gameplay I
tree.
don't mind
That
being
looks awesome.
slow.
Well, guys, thank you for joining
But as I
me
said,
and
I think they're
showcasing-
not even 10% done with the game. That's what I'm worried about.